Hi. Hey, thank you for coming back. If you've seen, how many people have seen me before? Oh my gosh, I've got groupies. That's fantastic. Thank you. My name's Kristen Owens. I have a doctorate in higher education administration, which has nothing to do with alcohol. But it makes me sound fancy. Actually, my background, I do have a background in alcohol. I'm a first level sommelier, which is about wine. And I'm also a first level cicerone, which is about beer. And my husband is a professional beer judge. So we have fabulous parties at our house.
Where do you live?
I almost told you. I almost told you. So I am a writer. I've been writing for 10 years, but I'm also an educator. And I love teaching. I'm an extroverted writer, which is a little unusual. So I love to present. I love to teach. And I am so thankful for being here. I just got off a ship. I teach on luxury cruise lines. I teach on Cunard. And I teach on Viking. I teach writing workshops, and I give talks on publishing and literature. So I am back on land. I am home. I'm very happy to be home. If I tend to stand like this, that means it was a rough week at sea. And that has to kind of help me balance. So that is not being not very feminine, and I apologize, but it's that or I fall down. So we're going to get started today. Oh, the holidays. People, family, friends, cleaning, baking, cooking, hosting, shopping, driving, parking, all kinds of stuff that happens, which is why we need alcohol. Okay? We need alcohol because alcohol is fun, if done responsibly, okay? So we're going to be responsible. We're going to talk about festive holiday beverages today. We're going to talk about how to make them. You're going to have 3 beverages today, which is very fun with my helpers. And you're going to probably have about 2 ounces of alcohol, straight alcohol. So for those of you who are lightweights, just be careful, okay? All right. Let's get started. Oh, holiday drinks. We love to entertain. We love to have our family and friends over, but sometimes it just feels like it's way too much. Way too much. And it's like, really, do we want to have a party? Yes, you do. And we're going to make it really simple. Okay? We're going to talk about hosting as well. We're going to talk about serving, glassware, opening, buying, all kinds of fun things, not just recipes today, because I want you to have more education than you bargained for when you walked in. You thought you were just getting 3 free drinks. Sorry. Sorry about that. So during the holidays, we're surrounded by people we typically care about, so we want things to be nice. So historically, alcohol is a way of welcoming somebody into your house, a festive drink. Well, let's take a step back. What does this mean for you as the host? Okay, you're the one putting out all the nice things, the nice napkins, the nice glasses. We're going to keep it as easy as possible, okay? We want you to enjoy the festival. We want you to enjoy the cocktail party just as much as your guests do, okay? All right. Wine. Let's talk about all the different things we can serve. Wine is easy. It's very easy to serve. You open it up and you pour it in a glass. However, there are some considerations for wine. We've had wine for a very long time. China actually developed wine, and Egypt developed wine. 7,000 years ago, wine has been with us. And it's really the world's first alcoholic drink. And it's been around for a long time, and we still go to it because it's easy. China is actually the 6th largest producer of wine in the world. So that's interesting. And at the bottom, you can see, this is from the Ming Dynasty. It's a gorgeous silk scroll. They are picking grapes to make into wine. And at the top is people in Thebes picking grapes in Egypt to make wine. And you see these lovely, oh, that's not going to do it, these lovely pots here that they're going to put the wine in to ferment it. Okay? So it's been around for thousands and thousands of years. It's very easy. It's an easy go-to to entertain with. What's in it? Wine's very easy to make. It is. Anybody? Grapes, but not table grapes. Wine grapes. Okay, they're a little smaller. Water and yeast, exactly. Because what happens is you need yeast to make alcohol. How does it get made? This looks complicated. It's not. You pick the grapes. You pick the grapes. You take the grapes off the stem. You put it in a barrel and you add the yeast. The yeast connects with the fruit sugars and becomes alcohol. It ferments. It's having a little party. If you've ever been to a winery, you will hear it. It's amazing. And of course, you're going to smell it. But if you've ever been to a winery, there's going to be big, huge plastic like containers, vats, big ones. And you will see all this activity going on. And that is the yeast eating the sugars from the grapes. And we call it pooping out alcohol. That's the technical term. So it is making alcohol. We're going to squish all the stems and skins out. We're going to possibly age it in a barrel, because barrels are nice, all different types of woods, American, French oak, different types of vanilla charred characteristics that give lots of things to your wine. Then we're going to take a look at it and go, maybe we should blend it. It's not so great on its own. We'll blend it with something else. And then we filter it, all the nonsense out, and then we bottle it. It's like making tea. It really is like making tea. You put stuff together, you let it sit for a while, and then you drink it. All right? That is how you make red wine. Now, here are the 4 big red wines that you can choose from when you're hosting. Pinot Noir is very soft, very light. Okay? It doesn't have a lot of structure to it. It's kind of wimpy. Unless you have a really good Pinot Noir. And you'll know it because it'll probably come from the Russian River Valley in California, the place for Pinot Noirs. I did not like Pinot Noirs until I went there, and all of a sudden, me loves them. So it's interesting what your attitude can do and change about wine or alcohol in general once you taste something different. Okay, and I went to the source, and it was terrific. So Pinot Noirs, if it's from the Russian River Valley in California, definitely try them. They're not terribly expensive. Merlot, got more body to it. You know, it's kind of the go-to red wine. Syrah or Shiraz, it's the same. Syrah is the French word. Shiraz is the Australian word for the same type of wine. So if you see Syrah or Shiraz, it's the same. Okay, just depends on where it came from. That has a little more body to it. It might have a little more structure, tannins, drier. It might have some spice to it. It has a little bit more personality. If you go to a Cabernet Sauvignon, that is a big, bold red wine. It's probably best with food. You never typically just drink a glass of Cab on its own. It needs to go with something else, okay? So the lighter the wine, the Pinot Noir, the Merlot, very nice sipping wine. The darker the wine, provide food, okay? And actually, when I say lighter and darker, it also is about how it looks. So a lighter wine will be a lighter color than a darker colored wine. But that also tells you something about the wine. It's got probably a little bit less alcohol in it than a darker wine because it hasn't been aged, okay? So those are red wines. Now, you're going to give a glass of red wine, you're going to have a nice couple bottles of red wine, and you're going to entertain with them. What do you serve it with? If you're going to do a little charcuterie board, perfect. Salty, meaty, spicy, garlicky, something that will stand up to the structure of the red wine. Basically, the wine has to stand on its own because otherwise it's going to get completely run over by this food, okay? So make sure you pair accordingly. The bigger, bolder the wine, the more spicy, salty, garlicky dips you can serve with, okay? All right, so here's my favorite. Does anybody know what Beaujolais Nouveau is? No? Oh, I'm so glad you came. Oh, shame on you. Shame on you. Okay, little story. This is how I started drinking wine about 30 years ago. I grew up in Buffalo, New York. My claim to fame is getting beer across the border from Canada, Labatt's Blue, which was considered the fancy beer. And that was the fancy beer my parents served to guests when we had a holiday party, because you had to go to Canada and come back with it. All right? Okay. Never had wine, never had liquor, any kind of alcohol in my house until I went to graduate school. And my bestest friend had a very, very affluent sister and brother who were doctors. And he said, we've been invited for Thanksgiving, and they put on a spread like you would not believe. And I said, I'm down for that. Spread? I'm a, poor graduate student. I'll take a ham sandwich, okay? But you're going to make a turkey, and and by the way, they have their wine flown in from France. Ooh, that sounds fabulous. I would love to try French wine. We get there, lovely people, very down to earth, super nice, and they served Georges Duboeuf Beaujolais Nouveau. This wine is very special. It comes out the third week of November, just in time for Thanksgiving, okay? If you want it in time for Thanksgiving, it has to be flown here. You pay about $5 more a bottle. If you wait the extra week, it gets here on a boat, and it's cheaper. But they had it flown in specifically for Thanksgiving. It is a light red wine. It is a young wine. They have festivals. They always have these beautiful posters every year. Some artist does this gorgeous poster in France that everybody covets. And it's a huge celebration in France because it's the new wine, the new grape. Let's all take the day off and just drink red wine together. And isn't France wonderful? So I was just like, oh my God, I am rolling here. I'm having turkey and cornbread stuffing and this lovely wine. And I got really, really intoxicated. Guess how much that wine is? It's $12 a bottle. And here I thought it was something super duper fancy because it came from France. It was a really good education on wine for me. First of all, I cannot drink an entire bottle of wine by myself. I can now, but back then I couldn't, okay? I had no training. I had absolutely no training. So this is a very low alcohol wine. It's probably around 11%. That's low. Normal wine is around 13.5, 14. That's standard. You can get higher wines, but in general, they're about 14%. This was 11%. It's meant to be drunk young. You do not age this wine. It has no structure to it. It'll fall apart like that. Just drink it, enjoy it. You can almost call it quaffing wine. You know what quaffing is? You never heard that? Quaffing? It's like table wine. It's not anything fancy. It's just you drink it to drink it, okay? It is so wonderful. I have a poster in my house of Georges Duboeuf, one of the labels, because that has given me my entrance to wine, okay? And if you haven't tasted it, it's wonderful. $13. Wilbur's doesn't have the Georges Duboeuf. They have another brand, which is okay. It might be gone by now. But the thing is, the more people who request it, the more they'll bring in, okay? Because we're not very educated on wine in this term. You don't have to get expensive wine to have a good time, to offer it to people you care about, okay? This is lovely and it's special. So there's your holiday red, folks. All right, okay. White wine. Let's talk about white wine. Oh, I can't drink red wine. It gives me a headache. Oh, the tannins. Oh, the tannins. Can only drink white wine. That's a big fat lie. You can drink red wine and white wine. You're perfectly fine. Okay? It's a misnomer. The reason why you're having a headache is because you're not drinking enough water. Okay? So every glass of wine you drink a glass of water after that as your chaser. All right? But white wine can be beautiful. Pinot Gris, Chardonnay, those are very light wines, very light in color, light in taste. They don't have a lot of body to them. They go with everything. They go with pizza. They go anything you could, Doritos. You can eat anything with light white wines. Now, when we get into Viogniers and the Sauvignon Blancs, they have a little more oomph to them. Okay, when I say structure, they have a little more weight. They have a little more personality to them. So how many people have actually drank a Sauvignon Blanc? Really, really cold in the summer, right? Nice. Yeah, really, really good. A Viognier is a little bit lighter than that. If you don't like the tang in the back of your teeth from a Sauvignon Blanc, because it can be a little tangy, it can taste very citrusy. Some of them are too citrusy. Try doing a Viognier. It's a lovely version of a Sauvignon Blanc. It's a French version of a Sauvignon Blanc. Okay. So what can you pair these with? Cheeses, fruits, nuts. Okay. Something salty, something light, something that will go up with the wine, that won't fight against it. Okay. Fruits are nice. Cheeses, creamy dips, nice glass of white wine. Make sure it's chilled. You can have everything out, and you bring out your chilled bottle of wine, and you're good to go. Super, super easy in terms of entertaining. So what do you need to serve wine with? Well, here's your equipment. These are the 3 things that you need. You need a bottle opener, a foil cutter right here, and a bottle opener. You choose one of these 2. Now, the foil cutter is very nice. The foil cutter, you put it on top of the bottle, you squeeze it, and you turn it, and it makes a very nice clean cut of the foil. And the reason why you want a clean cut, you don't go like this. It's nice and jagged then, because then when you pour the wine spills onto your beautiful tablecloth, onto your napkins, and it looks like a bloodbath. So get a nice foil cutter. They're $5.99. Do a nice clean cut. It keeps the remaining foil flat to the bottleneck, and then use one of these 2 things. These are bottle openers. This is a standard waiter's opener, okay? So standard waiter's opener is very simple. I know you've got the rabbits and the fuffalas and all the crazy things. This is what you need, one of these. You stick it in, you twirl it to about this loop on the piggy tail, okay? And then you fold it down and you lift it up. If you can't use these well, if this sends you into fits, if you have nightmares about opening up a bottle of wine, or you don't have the hand strength anymore, or if you happen to have fallen down in Florence wine tasting and broke your hand and have 3 titanium pins in it, then you get this one. This is made from Tupperware. It is expensive. It's like 30 bucks. The best 30 bucks you've ever spent here, okay? You shove it down, you twist it, and it comes off. Easy peasy. Plus, it's got a nice colorful handle, and you can find it in your drawer full of nonsense, okay? Expert, easy peasy, okay? You want to impress people? Practice a lot. Got broken bones? Go with this one, okay? So the other thing you need to do is decant. This is for red wine only. This is for older red wine. Older red wine has stuff in it, sleeping at the bottom of the bottle. It should. It's been sitting there, hopefully on its side, for a while. If you get it from the grocery store, it's sitting straight up. Poor thing, because the cork is probably dried out. You really should store bottles on their side. All right? We're not going to talk about wine cellars and all that today, but if you are starting to collect wine, make sure it's stored on its side. There's a reason. Now, the sediment collects over time. It's sleeping. You're not going to wake it up. You're not going to go down to the wine cellar every week and go, hey, how's it going? And then shove it back in. You're going to let it sleep like a baby. When you need to wake the baby up and you're going to serve the baby, you open it up and there's a filter that you can get with a carafe. You very slowly pour the bottle into the carafe. All that stuff at the bottom will collect in the sieve. Is it dangerous? No. Can you eat it? Sure. Do you want to? I wouldn't. Because you get the old skins on your tongue, and it's not a good look. So I wouldn't do that. Decant 30 minutes prior, let it sit, let it do its thing, let it open up. I've had, honestly, really interesting experiences with wine that haven't opened up. It is actually a thing. You open up a bottle of wine, a good $20, $25 bottle of wine, and you start pouring it and you drink it and you're like, oh my God, there's something wrong with it. It's been oxidized, something happened to it, there's sulfur on it. It's terrible. It hasn't opened up yet. You just release the crack and let it do its thing. Let the oxygen get in there and aerate all those wonderful things that are happening in that bottle that have been hibernating for a long time. Okay? So make sure if you have a nice bottle of wine that you do this, because all that allows is collection of the nonsense and then oxygen to get down here and open up that structure. And all of a sudden that wine is fabulous. You're like, I was going to dump this out. And it becomes a really great red wine. So give it a little time, okay? All right, glassware. I know you love your fancy glasses with the little crystals on and mama's wine and on all of that, and that's terrific. But for hosting, just go with simple, clear glasses. Libby, Walmart, nice feet on them, a strong foot, a weighted foot so it doesn't tip over, okay? This is a white glass, because it's thinner, it's got a smaller hole at the top, because it's not going to be as fragrant. And the oxygen's really not going to need to go into whites as much. But for red, it's going to be a bigger bowl and a bigger face. Okay? Now, pour lines. This is where you really show your expertise with wine. Make sure that you pour to the fattest part of the glass, okay? This is the fattest part of the glass. What happened here?
Not enough.
It's not enough. That's not enough. Now, you always give your guests a proper pour, which is about 5 ounces of wine. Don't think you're doing them favors by pouring it all the way up to the top. It's not a good look, okay? And they might not want 9 ounces of that particular wine, okay? And you're not helping them by doing that. Make sure you give them a proper pour. And if you're at a restaurant and you don't get a proper pour, you ask for one. Okay, on cruise ships, Princess, they will pour it to here. Why do you think? Why do you think? Why would Princess pour up to here?
To shut people up.
Almost. Almost.
To use the bottle up.
To use the bottle up? No, no. Yes, they're tired. I'll just give her 2 glasses of wine right now so I don't have to come back in 20 minutes when she's on her main course. But what happens is she drinks the wine and wants that second glass. So make sure, it's just for you too as a consumer to understand how much wine you're drinking. The worst party I've ever went to was when I was with good friends who kept pouring wine in my glass without me knowing it. I thought I had 1 glass of wine. I think I had 16. Okay, and it's funny, but it's not at 3 o'clock in the morning, okay? So be responsible with your hosting duties, but also be responsible with your reciprocal duties as a guest, all right? So glassware, keep it simple, strong feet, so they don't tip. And if you have to put a little glass marker on your glass to know which wine glass is yours, we need to talk. I know they're cute. I know they've got cute things and all of that, but everybody should know where their wine glass is, or you got to get new friends. Okay. All right, sparklers. We're going on to sparklers now. Sparklers is a generic term for any wine that's frizzante, that's got a little effervescence on it. And we're going to start with Champagne, okay? Champagne can only be called Champagne if it's from the Epernay region of France. You will never see the word Champagne on any bottle unless it's supposed to have the word Champagne on it. It will say sparkling white, sparkling wine, all kinds of things. But if it's Champagne, it will say Champagne on it. It's a very small region in France. I got lost in it once. It was lovely to get lost in France, but it is proprietary for that region. It is made from 3 different kinds of grapes. It is made from Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and Pinot Meunier. 2 of those are red. Why are they white? You took the skins off. Yeah, you took the skins off because we want white champagne, not pink champagne. Well, there is pink champagne, but if you want pink champagne, you leave the skins on for a little bit. Some of these grapes are red, okay? So Champagne is lovely. It has an interesting process. Basically, it's cuvée. It's a batch of wine. It's fermented in barrels. And then step 2, tirage. We put it in a bottle. And the base wine it's all fermented in the bottle, okay? So that's why it's different than the red wine we talked about. Instead of just putting it in a barrel, it's bottle conditioned. Everything that takes place with that drink happens in its bottle, which is pretty cool. And it is a very, very, very delicate art form because it's very labor intensive. So tirage is actually putting the wine in the bottle, leaving some space. Why would we want to leave some space? It's going to start doing this, right? And it's going to get bigger, and it's going to get bigger. And guess what? Okay, so we need to leave some space because you're going to be adding sugars and yeast to it. The fermentation happens in the bottle. Step 3, it sleeps on its side for a few months in a very nice dark cave. Don't wake the baby. Then we wake the baby. We wake the baby, we open it, and we shake it, and we put it in a thing called riddling, and it's in a wooden A-frame, and all the sediment, all that nonsense gets collected in the neck of the champagne bottle. Then we freeze it. We freeze the neck, okay? It is called dégorgement. Dégorgement. And we take that old dead yeast out because Madame Clouquot is a very famous French champagne house, didn't like the way it looked. She didn't like all the floaties in it. So how do we get rid of the floaties? We turn it on its neck, we freeze it, we get rid of it. It shoots out because it's frozen and it's been inside a compressed air situation. It shoots out. Then we top it off with a little bit more wine. Step 6, and it's ready to go, okay? It is no vintage. There is no vintage for champagne. You can't say a 1968, there's basically no vintage because they're constantly taking champagne wine from other years and blending it so it's perfect, okay? So there are different levels of sweetness. I'm going through these very quickly because there's drinking going on. And in just a minute. So sweetness, it can be brut, extra dry, demi-sec, doux. So you will probably be drinking something around here. A lot of you like sweet. Doux is super, super sweet. It has 50 grams of sugar per liter. That's a lot, okay? Whereas dry will have 0 to 12 grams of sugar per liter. So if you're looking at calories, the sweeter the alcohol, the sweeter the wine, the more calories it has. If you want a lower calorie option, everything has calories. You're going to want to do something a little drier, okay? I've actually been fortunate to have sampled a Brut Nature, and it is like dust. You put it on your tongue and it just disappeared. And I'm like, did I swallow? I mean, it just disappeared. So unless you're like a champagne aficionado, don't go there. They're very expensive. Stay right around the Brut extra dry area. Okay, champagne, lots of different champagnes. Oh, look, they all have these little corks on them. They have a cork on them for a reason. Here are my picks. Bollinger. $399. Just saying. Pierre Jouet, Grand Brut, $29. Very nice. Very nice. Champagne does not have to be expensive. Okay? So, Cremant. Cremant is like champagne. It's from France, but it's not from Epernay. They do the same thing champagne does. They produce it the exact same way. And I love Cremant because it's a little creamier. It's not as dry. It doesn't feel like mineral so much on your tongue. It's got a little bit of creaminess, not sweetness, creaminess. It's different. Okay? I love Cremant. I think more people should be drinking it. They've got some lovely options. It's basically made of Chenin Blanc Chardonnay. It's very, very nice, and here are my picks for that. The Cremant is a Louis Belot Perle de Viognier, and that is $60, or Le Vert Cremant de Bourgogne, which is $21. So basically, just go to your local alcohol place and look around and see what they have. But Cremant is very, very nice. Cava. Cava is also a sparkler. It is from Spain. Okay, it is their sparkling wine. It is different because it has smaller, tiny bubbles. They can make rosé, which is rosado. It is mostly non-vintage, of course, and it's a blend of wines from different years. So a cava means cave. So it was stored in a cave. And this is Spain's version of a sparkler. Castillo de Diablo, very easy to get that. Frixenet, very easy to get that. And here are my picks. The Brut Rosé Chandon, beautiful bottle. If you're going to bring a hostess gift, that's a lovely, lovely bottle to bring. It's beautiful pink. It is a Brut Rosé, so it will be a little pink on it. Very pretty. But the Campo Viejo Cava is $13. Okay, so those are your Cava options. Prosecco, another sparkler. This is out of Italy. It is an Italian white sparkling wine. It is made in the village of Prosecco. Imagine that. And they allow for 15% of the wine to be all different varieties, but it's mostly made from the Prosecco grape. And it can be sparkling, spumante, which is a little bigger bubbles. So here is my two picks for Prosecco. Santa Margherita Prosecco di Verbaliano, Brut, no vintage, $3.37. It has a kind of a chunky bottle to it. But my mother's next door neighbor across the pond really dialed me into Vostra. It is everywhere. You can get it in Walmart. It's $12. Yeah, $12. It's a beautiful pink wine. It's so well balanced. It's a lovely gift. I think it's completely underrated. They could sell it for 3 times as much. It is a wonderful, wonderful wine. So, glassware for sparklers. You've got a coupe, C-O-U-P-E, a coupe, an old style champagne glass that are coming back in fashion, thank gosh, because they're so sexy looking. Then you have something called a tulip. It is fuller. It holds the fragrance in a little bit. And then you have your standard flute for any type of drier champagne. You can use any of those for champagne. Okay? You probably have one of these in your cabinets. Okay? So that is your glassware for champagne. Number one question I get about uncorking. How do you open this stuff up? All right, let's do it really, really simple. You take the bottle. Do not shake it. Not even to be funny. Don't shake it. You are going to remove the foil, not with the cutter because there's wire underneath it. You're just going to remove the foil, all the foil. You're going to loosen the wire cage. Okay, unloosen it. You're going to hold a towel at the top of it. You're going to hold the bottle at a 45-degree angle away from your guests and any glassware and anything you don't want to have to be picking up. 45-degree angle the other way. You're going to twist the bottle from the base, not the cork. That is the biggest mistake people make. Like, I'm just going to wrench this thing open. Well, the cork has become like this inside the bottle, okay? And you have to get it to like this to get out of the bottle. Because when you take it out, all of a sudden the cork's like, how did it get that fat at the bottom, right? Well, there's a reason. There's all kinds of party going on in that bottle. It's self-fermenting, right? So you take your hand and twist the bottle, keeping a really tight grip on the cork, and it will come off. Twist the bottle from the base, keeping pressure on the cork. The cork will slide off with a soft hiss. If you hear a huge pop, that's fine. Everything's fine. But it should come out very elegantly and softly. Now, there's nothing I like better than hearing a large pop, especially at a dining room, especially on a cruise ship. So because that tells me people are having a good time and celebrating. So if you want to make a big pop, make a big pop, it's fine. But as a trained sommelier, you're not supposed to do that, whatever. So, okay, so that is how you uncork sparkling wine. What do you pair sparkling wine with? Nothing. Nothing. I wouldn't put any food out for this thing. It is an aperitif. It is to get the juices going. If you're going to have a very nice dinner, start with a lovely sparkling wine. Get your palate cleansed. Very nice. I wouldn't do anything with it, quite honestly. Okay? Okay, so here we go. Punch. Punch is easy. Punch you can prepare a day early, 2 days early. You can have all kinds of options with punch. It is economical. If you're going to have a large open house and people are just going to come in, come out, just put it in the punch bowl, serve yourself. It also, it gives you a little sparkle to just regular juice, which is fun. And it's great for all age groups. So if you're going to have grandchildren, the neighbor's kids come over, and you want to do something festive, you don't have to put alcohol in it, okay? It can be alcohol-free. So, ingredients. What you will need for punch. You will need some type of fruit juice. You will need something fizzy. You will need alcohol. You will need ice, and you will need garnish. The great thing about punch as well is it's not expensive because you're not going to be using your best alcohol for punch. Don't do that. Save your good alcohol for cocktails. Get the cheapest kind of alcohol you can find, and that's your punch alcohol. The other nice thing about punch is that you can really do this pretty much sugar-free. Your sparklers can be sugar-free. You can use no sugar juice cocktail. Not cocktail. Cocktail means there's juice in it. 100% juice will have natural juice, sugars in it, but don't put cocktail juice in it because then it adds a ton of calories. All right, so you can really kind of maintain a low-calorie option for this. Garnishes can be all kinds of fun. You can have a ton of fun with garnishes. What do you need? You need a punch bowl. How many people have a punch bowl? Oh, I used to too. It was my mother's. I know. We're going to bring the punch bowl back. Okay? You need some type of vessel. You can actually get a plastic bowl at the dollar store. Nobody's really going to care. Okay? If it's got a lot of fun garnish going on in the punch bowl, nobody's really going to care about the vessel. You're going to have small glasses. Okay? And you want to make sure, and even if you just have wine glasses, the stemless wine glasses, those are fine too. But you're going to want to actually have a glass that has a big enough mouth that you can ladle something in. Because otherwise, it's a murder scene. Okay? So make sure that that glass has a big mouth on it so you're able to drop in your ladle of punch. Okay, so warm punches. How many of you are from the north? Yeah, you've had warm punch, right? Because there's usually snow outside. And warm punches feel like grandma's house and cozy and fireplaces, and they usually have cinnamon in them. If you're going to make a warm punch, serve it with sweets like cookies or cakes, something like that. All right? Gingerbread, exactly. If you're going to do a chilled punch, which is what we're going to have today, you would use savory, salty types of snacks. Okay? So, you ready? You thirsty? Yes. You've been very good. You've been very kind so far. Our first recipe is Old Lang Syne punch. All right, so we're going to start doing that for you. One of the things I will tell you is you always add your fizzy last. Okay, you add your fizzy last because the fizzy is the first to go away. And you want to keep that fizz, so add it last. Okay, so I followed, like any recipe, you take what you like and you tweak it, right? So I took this recipe. I didn't like the color. I thought it was too vibrant. So what I did is I just put a little scooch of regular grape juice in it, and it softened it to like kind of an orangey pink, which I think is pretty. And then I just took a slice of mandarin orange, okay? Because mandarins are smaller. Make sure they're not ripe, okay? Because when they're ripe, they go when you try and slice them, like a little underripe to hold their form. And then some of us, we're lucky enough to get a little hole in the orange, and that's where the blueberry fits. So if you had a lot of time, you could, and thanks to my garnish people over here, Alyssa and Suzanne for helping pour. But this is, I think, a very sweet punch. It's not sweet. I think it's cute looking. With a blueberry and orange. Somebody did ask me about fruit in your glass. Anytime you get served something in a drink or on your plate, it should be edible. Okay? If not, there's something wrong with the restaurant. Okay? You should be able to eat everything that's placed on your plate, everything that's in your drink. Okay? So yes, you can chew on your little blueberry, you can chew on your mandarin orange, that's fine. So what do we think?
I like it.
You like it? Yeah. I would probably put a little more ginger ale in it. I think it's a little boozy, but I think the part that's really important is that it's cold. It needs to be cold. There's nothing like warm punch when it shouldn't be warm punch, okay? I think it's very refreshing. So again, cheeses, crackers, salty things, savory things would be great with this. And if it's on your table for a long time, just keep putting ice in it. It will dilute the punch, okay? Anytime you put an ice cube or ice, it will dilute the punch. It won't be as alcoholic, okay? There is a wonderful website called, Batch Calculator. It's called Batch Calculator. So if you have a recipe and you want it to be for 7 people, or 500 people, or 60 people at a library, you can scale it using the original recipe. It's called Batch Calculator. So this is enough for 14 people. Okay, this recipe is for 14 people. Okay? Again, really inexpensive Pinot Grigio. It was boxed wine, people. I'm not apologizing. It's Pinot boxed wine, the cheapest one you can get. Dry gin, it was Seagram's, which is very, very inexpensive. The white grape juice, it has to be juice, not cocktail. Okay? Cocktail is a ton of sugar. Ginger ale, no-name ginger ale, blueberries and orange slices. That was probably the most expensive thing on this recipe was the fresh fruit. Okay? So. Oh, well, beer. You weren't expecting beer, were you? Well, good, because I'm going to surprise you with beer. Beer, we don't treat beer well. We just don't. How do you make beer? Grains, hops, water, yeast. That's it. Beer is actually quite difficult to make. It is far more difficult to make than wine. I will stand on that hill. I've seen it both made. I've actually made both. Beer is very difficult because of the temperature control involved. All right? So how does beer get made? You need really good water. Florida water is not really good water. You need good water like Colorado water. You need hops, you need grains, and you need a fermenter and some kind of temperature control, and then you have beer. Okay, that's a very simplistic process, but it is very hard to make. The cleaning involved with beer making is just unimaginable. Anytime something gets into the beer, it can ruin the entire batch, and you have to throw it all out. Okay? So you want to make sure everything is clean. I've helped my husband make beer several times. It takes us longer to clean and get ready than to make beer and then clean and put it all away. It is hours of sanitizing, drying, bleach, everything. It's every little thing, even the little temperature gauge that goes into the wort to measure if it's time to add more stuff to it, has to be cleaned every single time. And not just wipe off with a dish towel. We're talking sanitized. We have a huge bucket of sanitized lotion. Solution, thank you. I was almost there. Here, wait a minute, one more second. Solution, that's the word, thank you. Yeah, it takes forever. Okay, so buying beer, beer education 101. Let's treat beer a little nicely, okay? Now, we lived in Colorado for a very long time where my husband had his beer education. He does judging. He does judging here in Florida with all the craft beers. He is back and forth. He did the national judging for the National Homebrew Association, and he's very knowledgeable in this area, which makes him somewhat unpleasant at dinner. A little story. I know I've got till 1 o'clock, but we went out for a lovely dinner last night. We went to the show. We went up to Van Wezel, something up there, and we saw a lovely musical, which I adore. And I said, let's go have a nice dinner, really nice dinner. Not takeout, let's just go and just have a nice dinner. Wear pants. So we go to Marina Jack's in Sarasota, not the place down in the bottom, the place at the top, the dining room. I had to make a reservation. We had a gorgeous view, sunset, very romantic. He orders a beer, and it is awful. It is an IPA, and it is so dark, there's stuff floating in the beer. And he said, I can't drink that. I said, you have to send it back. And he did. Now, why was it like that? It was old, and it wasn't refrigerated. Your beer needs to be kept cool. All right? So, here's beer on the shelf. Beer on the shelf, these beers with the dark glass are usually higher alcohol beers. All right? Your double box, your Belgians, your Belgian Strongs, the really high alcohol beers, they can sit on the shelf for a while. They've got structure. But your IPAs and your pale ales and your Stellas, they've been sitting there for a while. And they need to be treated better. They need to be refrigerated in a refrigerator. Okay? So when you go get your beer, first of all, I want you to look at the beer, the date on beer. And if it's been brewed over a year ago, that beer is not for you. Okay? So that beer is old. Don't buy it. They will have a date brewed on the can. Don't buy that beer. Your best bet is to have it pulled from a draft, because that will be a fresh beer. All right? If it's in a keg from the brewery and pulled at the bar, that's a fresh beer. Anything in a can or a bottle is suspect. Keep your beer cold, not freezing, but they should be treated well. Okay? So, higher alcohol can live on the shelf, lower alcohol, no, it has to be refrigerated. Okay, spiced beers. There are such things as spiced beers. They use all kinds of spices, allspice, cardamom, clove, nutmeg, star anise. That's star anise in the hand, which is pretty cool. Cinnamon. It can be really, really awesome beers that you never thought you'd like. Lots of flavor, lots of texture, lots of interesting things going on in the glass. It's like, this is beer? And I was lucky enough to have come back from a 2-week Belgian tour in October. 2 weeks of drinking Belgian beer. We drank over 100 beers in 2 weeks. We drank at 10 a.m., we drank at noon, we drank at 10 o'clock at night. It was wonderful because they treat their beers like important things. And I don't think our country does a good job with that. It's like, let's just drink to drink. But we're not giving it any type of specialness, okay? People made this with their hands. They crafted it. You have to give it respect, okay? So these spices are all fresh. They're all put in there for a reason, and they can change. But a spiced beer is a wonderful thing to have, a really lovely thing to have, okay? And what do you pair it with? You pair it with dinner. You pair it with like a dinner with a roast beef, a turkey, a meat, something that's got some substance to it. And that spiced beer is going to be a lovely addition to your meal, okay? Holiday ales are different than spiced beers. Holiday ales are brewed specifically for the holidays. And it's kind of you never know what you're going to get because it changes every year. They're usually higher alcohol, okay? And when you drink it, you feel kind of warm inside, warm and happy, okay? There is really no fixed recipe for a holiday ale, and we consider these sipping beers, okay? You're going to sip on them. You're not going to quaff them, okay? You're going to sip on them. Now, this one is very interesting. It's called Sammy Claus. Sammy Claus is from Eggenberg Brewery in Austria. It is an aged Doppelbock, very high alcohol. Every year they brew it on December 6th. And they put it away and age it a whole year, and then it comes out the following December. So it's very special. Now, this is what people have described this beer to taste like. Figgy pudding. Cake and figgy pudding, plum and rum raisin. Sounds delicious. It's 14% alcohol. It's like a glass of wine, but it's in a 12-ounce bottle. So do the math, okay? It's in a 12-ounce bottle. It would be like you drinking an entire half bottle of wine, okay? Which is not unheard of, okay? But this is a very, very special beer. You can get it here in the States. It's lovely, and it's called Sammy Claus, S-A-M-I-C-L-A-U-S. All right, right? Nobody wants to eat that anyways. So just cut it up and serve it with a really, really good holiday beer, and the thing will be gone. And then people will see that was the best fruitcake I've ever had, and you're like, it was the beer. The beer will help the cake. The beer will help the cake, okay? So I had a roommate once who loved fruitcake. She would eat it at any time, at any day. I'm like, good on you, okay? Okay, so glassware. It's really important here. Glass is really important. And I talk about glassware a lot because it's disrespectful to the beverage if you don't put it in the right glass. The first one is considered a classic shaker. It holds a standard 12-ounce beer, but unfortunately there is no room for the head. Look what's happening. It's like, help me. Oh my God, there's no room for me. I'm going to fall right out of the glass. Okay, so basically you want a 16-ounce shaker. It's a bigger shaker, but when you pour a 12-ounce glass of beer in it, it will have room for the head, which is super important for the beer because that's why they made it that way. So it would have a big fuzzy head on it. Okay, so my husband, I have to quote him on this. He says, in a bar, you notoriously get a short pour. Think about it. You buy a 12-ounce beer, you're not getting a 12-ounce beer. You're probably getting a 10-ounce beer because they're leaving room for the head. So when you get your glass of beer, it's basically a 12-ounce pour with a 2-ounce head. That's not okay. If you move to Europe, they have a line on the glass of where that has to hit. So you are getting what you paid for. It is by law. In Europe, by law, you have to have a proper pour. It is that important to them. That important that you are buying what you get. So get a 16-ounce glass. You'd rather have too much room than not enough. And 16-ounce glass is pretty big, shaker, okay? But you're going to have a proper pour. This is a goblet or a tulip glass. I love these because they're so sexy looking. Okay, they got a little foot. They got room for your hand. It's really nice for presentation and for tasting because it gives you more of an opportunity to smell it and to get that aroma and to look at it. And it's really pretty. When we were in Belgium, like I said, for 2 weeks, that's all we drank out of. They actually put beer in wine glasses. They would never put it in a shaker glass. Okay? They'd be putting it like in a Dixie cup. You know, they would never do that. So when in doubt, get a really nice tulip glass. Now, who makes these? I know Florida pretty well now. Been here for 3.5 years. What does that look like to you, that beer in that glass? A Stella, thank you. Stella is made in Belgium. I went to Stella. It was awesome. Had fresh beer. It was wonderful. And they have Stella glasses, and you probably have Stella glasses too. There's a reason why they're that way. Okay? There's a reason why that glass is that way. The aroma, the presentation, the beautiful big head on it, okay? And your hand is not warming the glass by holding it. You're holding the stem of the glass. Your big meaty paw isn't holding it like this, right? And warming that nice cold chilled beer. Aha! See? There's reasons for this madness. Proper glass. Beer. I've picked a special beer for you. You're going to have beer next. This is called a Jubilee. It's from Deschutes, and this is an annual tradition with this brewery. They do an annual holiday ale, and they have an artist who does the original painting for the label and for the six-pack carry. Okay? She made this painting out of beer. She used beer to paint this beautiful painting. Yeah. So Jubilee is from Deschutes. It is United States. It is seasonal. It's known for its rich, malty profile with notes of spice, toffee, cocoa, and dark fruit. Ooh. And it's balanced by a little bit of a hot bitterness just to make it not so sweet. And this is the alcohol ink that she's used. Her name is Susanna Bemetz. She's from Oregon. And it is an Oregon beer. So it's called Jubilee. You can get this at everywhere. You can get this particular beer at Total Wine. That's where I got it. And it's not that expensive. It's like $20 for a case. Cocktails. Here we are, cocktails. Cocktails are more involved, okay? If you're going to have a party, you're going to host, and you want to do cocktails, it takes way more time to prepare these. There are more ingredients. They are served individually to people. And they're best for small gatherings. If you're going to have a party of 20 people, cocktails are going to be really tough. Unless you say, we're having martinis and that's it. Okay, and you just dictate what people are going to have, which is not great, you know. Or you've got a bartender who's doing it for you. So you don't want to be stuck in the kitchen making cocktails all night. All right, you want to be able to host and have fun with your guests. So cocktails are tough. But you can do these if you have a small gathering. It's super, super nice because they can be really fun to put together. So what's in a cocktail? You will have hard liquor, which is gin, vodka, whiskey, rum, tequila, or brandy. You will have a mixer, which could be tonic, ginger ale, seltzer, club soda, anything that has a little sparkle to it. Okay? You will have a liqueur. Hear that? Liqueur, which is Cointreau, lovely, amaretto, vermouth, bitters, something that adds a little flavor. And then you will do some type of fun garnish, because why wouldn't you? Everybody likes a garnish. They will talk more about the garnish than they'll talk about the whole evening. That's a boring party. I'm sorry. You guys got to step it up. If your garnish is going to be talked about, you need to step up the party. And then you will need to have some kind of ice. You will need lots of ice. More ice than you think you need. Okay. So let's talk about the difference. A liqueur is unsweetened spirits. They're determined solely by their base ingredient. Okay? and aging process. So vodka, gin. You should always have vodka and gin in your house. A liqueur is something like a cordial, very fruit-based, has lots of sweetness, spiciness. They're grouped by their flavors and not by their spirit. So you've got liqueur and liquor, totally different. You need both. So essential glassware. All right, glassware. We have a rocks glass, short, fat rocks glass. We have something called a martini glass, very elegant stem, beautiful bowl. You can rim the outside with something, very pretty. And then you can also do the coupe again. The coupe we use for champagne. So if you buy new coupes, you can actually use them for cocktails like a Manhattan, which is great in a coupe with a maraschino cherry. And then I love the fact that you can get these really cute skewers and put your garnish through the skewer and just lay them on top. Really cute, really cute. Okay, so essential glasswares, those are the ones that you would need to have. All right, so equipment, what do you need? You need a shaker, strainer. That's that silver thing, okay? You will need a jigger, single double. It's basically a shot glass with a single pour or a double pour on either side. You will need a stirring spoon. You will need towels. Yes, you will. You will need multiple towels. You will need ice. All right. So they come in all kinds of different sets. I've seen a set like 50 different pieces. That's crazy. Okay. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Really simple, because you're not going to want to do it if it's not simple. All right. If it's a pain in the butt, you're not going to say, "Oh, let's have a party." Okay. You want to say, "Let's have a party," because it's going to be simple. So this thing here is a strainer. So when you're shaking everything up, okay, with the ice and the cocktail in there, you take the top off, you put that little strainer thing on, and it strains out all the liquid and it leaves the ice behind. Because you don't want ice in your cocktail necessarily. Okay, you want it really cold, but you want to keep the ice away from the beverage. It's going to dilute the alcohol, so we don't want that. Because now we're investing in some good alcohol. All right, now we're investing in some good stuff, because it's going to be the mainstay for the drink, the alcohol. You can't cover it up like in a punch with juice and stuff, okay? So it's really, if you're going to splurge on some alcohol, this is when you do it. All right, so that's your equipment, and it's just really, really simple. Now, what do you serve it with? Nuts, snacks, nibbles. When you have cocktails, it's usually not for a dinner. You would serve beer or wine at a dinner. If you're going to have a cocktail party, could be tons of fun. Just have little nibbles all over the place, and you're just the focus is going to be on the drink. Okay? So, all right, how are we doing here? We're doing pretty good. So, the recipes in front of you. We've done the Old Lang Syne punch, right? Serves 14. The next one we're going to do is the Sleigh Bell Spritz. And that's going to take us a little bit longer because of just the labor involved with putting all this together. Now, what I've done is I've pre-mixed the alcohol and the juice. Okay, so I've put everything in a container and have refrigerated it for about 2 days now. So it's going to be nice and blended. But the thing about serving cocktails is that you want them cold, you want ice, you don't want them warm, and you want the fizziness to be the last thing you put in the glass. So I can't pre-mix everything. I can only pre-mix the alcohol portion of the drink. The fizziness is the last thing that goes in, and then the garnish is the very last thing that goes in, and you'll see why. Okay? Any questions about what we've been doing?
What is giving this the fizziness?
The fizziness is the Sprite.
Sprite. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's a special kind of Sprite. All right, so let's go through the recipe real quick. Okay, so the recipe calls for an ounce of vodka, cranberry juice, 3 ounces of Sprite, but not any Sprite. It is winter spiced cranberry, and it's in Walmart. It's everywhere. It's in a can, and it'll say winter spiced cranberry, and it has 0 calories. Nice, right? So really, cranberry juice has juice calories, But this is pretty low calorie in terms of a drink goes, because you're going to be eating chocolates and cookies and all kinds of things during the holidays. If you can manage your caloric intake with cocktails, the better. So 3 ounces of that, crushed ice, and then we're going to put a frozen cranberry and leaf on top. Okay? So you're going to shake everything together. You're going to put into a glass with ice. You're going to garnish with the cranberry and the mint. And you're going to get a little swizzle stick, because who doesn't like a swizzle stick?
Yes.
Let's bring back swizzle sticks too, right? Punch bowls and swizzle sticks. Isn't it pretty with the ice? Isn't that different? Okay, so it's on Amazon. Everybody's asking me, Amazon, they have little tiny 1-inch ice cube trays that are in the shape of a ball. And you put your, it's kind of a little technical, you fill up the tray, you try and get your cranberries in there, but then when you have to fill the rest of it, they kind of go floating everywhere, so you have to be a little careful, and then you put the top on, and then any extra shoots out the top. So you've got a round ball with a cranberry in it, and then you carefully put it in the freezer, and they take about a day to freeze. And I did the same with the mint. I took fresh mint, cut it up, and put it in there, and it's a little more higgly-piggly. It's not as pretty, but it's in there. Okay, so you've got little ice balls with a cranberry, a fresh cranberry, and a fresh mint. Those will last about 20 minutes, okay? And you can eat both, all right? So I just think it looks a little special. The swizzle stick is nice. People sip out of the stick. It's nice. Instead of toss it back, you can sip. Very elegant, okay? So how does it taste? Yeah? Yeah. Guess where this came from? United Airlines. I've been on a plane a lot. I got this out of United Airlines, and I thought it looked really simple and really nice. So I did change up with the garnish. I thought I wanted something a little prettier, so I did the frozen cranberry and the frozen mint leaf in it, and I do think it looks nice. Because it is about presentation. Okay, it has to taste good, but if it looks good, you get bonus points, right? Okay, so everybody's enjoying that?
Yeah.
Okay, who has the blue heart? Somebody has it. Oh, you've got it. Okay, great. There you go. Yay. There you go. Thank you. Okay, so that is called Sleigh Bell Spritz. Very easy to make. Like I said, I made it prior. I put it in a big container. It's been melding for about 2 days, nice and balanced, cold, shake it up. Pour it into your cup, throw a little ginger ale on top of it, or the spiced Sprite winter spiced cranberry. There's empty cans going around so you can see what that looks like. 0 calorie on that. Crushed ice, you're good to go. It's a very nice fest, and the color's pretty too. I think the color's really nice. Okay, so, all right, so here we go. All right, so holiday hosting in general, okay? Everybody feeling good? Yeah, okay, well, yeah. I hope so. Yeah. Holiday hosting in general. I've been spoiled because my parents were terrific party hosts, and I didn't appreciate that until I got married. And they did it so seamlessly. It was so effortless. And I tried to figure out, what are we doing wrong? You know? And I asked my mom. I took my mom on this last cruise with me on the Queen Mary 2, and we had a blast. She'd never been on the Queens before, and since I write about the Queens, I was really excited that she was able to go with me, so we spent 12 days on the Queen Mary 2 together, and I got to ask her, how did you guys pull this stuff off? It just felt so easy. And she said, here are the things that we do. Make sure all your glassware is clean the day before. Get it all ready. Put it on a dish towel. Have it ready to go. All right? Prep your space. If you need mixers, if you need tongs, if you need an ice bucket, get everything out. Get your shaker out. Get everything out. Prep the battle space, my husband would say. You make ice, not the day of, the day before, and the day before that, because you will more than likely need ice. You don't use ice a lot, okay? But you do when you're entertaining. If you're going to do something really special, like have a lovely dinner, you're going to want to iron the tablecloth. I know. You haven't seen your iron in decades. especially in Florida. Pull out the iron it out, put it on the table, arrange your beautiful napkins that you usually pull out once a year. Tidy the house. When I say tidy, I mean just tidy. Clean your powder room, put fresh towels out, put some lovely candles out. If you've got a pool, put some floating candles in the pool, dim the lights a little bit, put some music on, not too loud because you want to be able to talk to people, okay? Just in the background, very nice. Low music. But most importantly, you share duties. If you're with a partner in your house, it's not just your party, it's your party. So that partner needs to do things too. And you divvy that up, and you make sure everybody knows their responsibilities. And this is where my parents really, really did a good job. Somebody would enter my parents' house for the party. My dad would take their coat, buffalo, okay, coats, take the coats, put them in the guest room, welcome them in. My mom would welcome them in, get them seated. Then my father would ask what they would like to drink. And here are the options. You don't just say, what do you want to drink? Well, I'd like a Tom Collins straight up with a twist. Well, you might not have that, okay? So what would you like to drink? We have the following. We have Sleigh Bell Spritz, which is a really lovely cocktail that we're very excited about. We've got some spiced warm beer, or we've got some ginger ale. Just give them the whole menu, okay? And then they can pick, all right? Get them seated. When their drink is gone, somebody's responsible for making sure that your drink is filled. So make sure you know who that person is. Make sure you dedicate somebody to having snacks out and refilling the snacks. Make sure somebody's talking to your guests. Divvy up those responsibilities. It can't just be one person. It's no fun if it's just on your shoulders, okay? You have to share the responsibilities. All right, considerations as we move forward. Please provide non-alcoholic options for your folks, for your guests. Not everybody's going to drink for whatever reason. They don't want to, they don't feel well, they're on medication. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't ask. It's not your business. Please provide a non-alcoholic drink for your guests. Also, offer something to eat. Even if it is martinis or cocktails, have some type of nibble out for people. They might have missed lunch. They might have missed dinner. They need some kind of calories to balance the alcohol, okay? Have something available for them. And what happens is when you're hosting, people feel like they need to bring you gifts, which is lovely. Sometimes it's alcohol. Most times it's a bottle of something. You are not obligated to serve it. Keep it for later, because you're going to need it. So take that lovely gift, thank them for the lovely gift, and put it off to the side. Now, if you've asked for your people to bring stuff, bring a dish, then of course you serve the dish, okay? Hopefully that dish doesn't need to be heated up. That is the worst thing you can do as a guest, is to bring this dish that needs to be in the oven for 20 minutes at 425. That's the last thing your hostess wants to do, is to deal with your stuff. Have it ready to be served, okay? If it needs to be heated up, try something else. Try a cold dish. Try a dip, a lovely cheese platter, something that doesn't involve the hostess being taken away from her duties to now work for you. It's actually quite rude. Sorry. Okay. Okay. My final thing is keep it simple. Okay? I had a wonderful aunt who passed away 2 years ago. She was my godmother. She was the queen of parties. Dinners, hostess events. She had 7 different kinds of china. She had a whole chef's kitchen done. She did 72 Christmas cookies every year, 72 different kinds of Christmas cookies. The woman was insane. She was married to an Italian. My godfather. So, the thing is, her parties were legendary. Everybody wanted to come to her party. Beef Wellington, I mean, you name it, the sky's the limit. but they never got invited anywhere. When you set the bar so damn high, nobody wants to compete with you. Okay, ladies. I'm not looking at you guys. Ladies. Okay. When you set the bar so high for events in your home, people will feel intimidated that they have to reciprocate in the same way. And it's too overwhelming. And I just don't want to do it. We've had multiple parties at our house that have been very low-keyed. We still have not been invited back to other people's houses. And we're just talking about cracking some beers open, okay? So please, this is an art form, yes, but it's also civility. It's living with people. It's inviting them into your home. Sharing what you have is a gift, whether it's chips and dip, beer, or very fancy cocktails in really pretty glasses with cute ice cubes. It doesn't matter. You're inviting them into your home. Please keep it manageable, because you're going to ostracize everybody at that party if you don't. Okay? You want to go to their house and eat their food and drink their drinks. Okay? So make sure that's reciprocal in a way. Okay? Does that make sense? I know. And ladies, it's not even on here. If you're going to have a party, you wear your most comfortable outfit. Don't put anything that squeezes you on. Nobody cares. Put on a sparkly brooch. Don't stress about it. Gentlemen, you got it easy. All you need to do is trim your eyebrow hair and you're good to go. Honestly, you guys just make out like bandits, okay? And the ear hair. Yeah, if you got the trimmer out, just do everything, okay? Ladies, don't stress about it. It's more about having fun and enjoying your friends and your loved ones and your neighbors. Because really, that's what the holidays are all about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.